yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. Thank you, happy.
I welcome you to A Captain's Log, the Star Trek talk show dedicated to exclusive interviews with actors, writers, producers, authors, and stunt women like Leslie Hoffman. Thank you for joining us. Lili is here. I'm Brian Kreutz, and we have a one-of-a-kind interview today with Deep Space Nine and Voyager stunt superstar Leslie Hoffman.
Leslie Hoffman, yes. Leslie was very influential in Star Trek. She was crucial in many ways, not only for performing stunts, but also for ensuring cast and crew had what they needed for stunt safety. She also co-chaired the Young Performers Committee,
Pretty impressive.
Which is really cool.
Yes. Leslie Hoffman was literally the first woman elected as the co-chair and the chair on the National Stunt and Safety Committee, even writing a section on safety in the book. Now, she's known for being a stunt woman and assistant stunt coordinator, taking care of the cast and crew on Deep Space Nine and Voyager for many, many years.
So cool. And speaking of care, what would Deep Space Nine or Voyager do without an O'Brien or Mr. Carey or B'Elanna Torres to take care of the safety with the transporters, for example?
Yeah, you might be onto something there, Lils. For example, when our animated android Raj beamed back from his Vulcan away mission, the Heisenberg compensator must have been deactivated.
Oh, yes. The sheer horror on Raj's face after the confinement beam was boosted by the transporter chief was a dead giveaway that Raj saw something that Mr. Barclay saw in the transporter.
Yes, like in that 6th season Next Gen episode. I'll have to talk to our transporter chief here on the USS Orphan, but we've got to fix this.
Well, no more Tuvixes.
Yes.
And none of those.
That is completely true. We don't want a mixture of Raj with something else. Now, speaking of chief engineers and B'Elanna Torres, did you know our guest Leslie Hoffman did stunts and doubled for Roxann Dawson as Torres on Voyager more times than a Ferengi could count Latinum?
That's a lot of times, BK. Leslie Hoffman was crucial to stunts at Paramount during the time for Torres and Deep Space Nine prior to that.
Well, we have a quick news item to share with you this week here on A Captain's Log. The Oscar award-winning actress Michelle Yeoh, who's going to star in a Section 31 Star Trek film, has a filming date. We have discovered that October of 2023 is when that film will go into production. Now, we received this tip from Trek Central, who says, this is not purely a rumor, but an official production list with crew now attached to its listing. Resumes, production weeklies, and the Directors Guild of Canada has a rumored production list. Section 31 is currently slated for commencement, once again, filming in October 2023. Now, remember, this was originally going to be a streaming TV series as the first Star Trek Discovery spinoff. However, now, as we announced earlier this season on A Captain's Log, Michelle Yeoh will star in the Section 31 film. There hasn't been any other cast members released that are going to be tied or rumored to be attached to this production. But as we know and get further information, we will keep you updated.
But back to our animated android friend Raj. You may be, thinking that we should help him, Brian, but I think I'll put in a service call to Planet X03 and request a replacement from the estate of Dr. Roger Corby. Welcome back to A Captain's Log.
Yes, Lili and I are here with Leslie Hoffman. She was the assistant stunt coordinator on Star Trek Deep Space Nine. She also worked on Star Trek Voyager, and she was a stunt woman as well for B'Elanna Torres in particular.
Leslie Hoffman, welcome to the show.
Glad to be on your show.
Growing up in Saranac Lake, New York, you went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts and the Herbert Berghoff Studios. This is where F. Murray Abraham and Whoopi Goldberg actually attended. However, you decided that it was a little too slow for you, Leslie. How did you redirect yourself to start doing stunts? And was it a difficult transition for you, or did you find it easier than traditional acting?
I always wanted to be an actress, and that's why I went to the 2 different acting studios. But it was really I gotta say, it was really boring, is that I wanted to do the physical stuff as well. And actually what happened was my older brother was at Caltech and my family went out to visit him, and we went to Universal Studios and they had the Western Stunt Show, and I had never heard of stunts before, but I was so taken with the stunt show, I suddenly knew that I wanted to be a stunt woman. That way I could act and plus be physical.
A captain's log returns in a moment.
Welcome back to your source for Star Trek stunts and scenes you will never forget, not just by rewatching reruns, but for our inside exclusive stories and interviews to color the pictures on how the action scenes and stunts played out on screen. Now, Leslie Hoffman is painting a picture on Deep Space Nine and Voyager for us.
Yes, she is. So, Leslie, when did you move to Los Angeles to train to become a stunt woman?
Yes. Well, at that time, in the late 70s, filming television and movies really was out of Los Angeles.
Wow, very cool. Is this when you then met Dennis Madalone and Tom Morga training together at Paul Stater's stunt school in Santa Monica?
I discovered that there was this stunt gym of would-be people wanting to be in the business as stunt people. And I joined the stunt gym, and there was Dennis Madalone, there was Tom Morga. There are so many people, stunt people, men and women, that went to that stunt gym that had a successful career.
Awesome, yes. We've heard many good stories about Paul Stater's stunt school in Santa Monica here on A Captain's Log many times, actually sprinkled over all 3 seasons on this show. Now, most recently it was with Mark Riccardi and Tom Morga. Now, being a stunt woman is a dangerous profession and maybe a thankless job at times when it comes to the fans. There are risks that come with this job. Can you please share the story of you and stuntman Mike Cassidy having an incident filming Steven Spielberg's film 1941? This is also the day you told me Spielberg wasn't there, Leslie.
Well, anyone who has seen the movie, there's a motorcycle sidecar. John Belushi pulls the pin which separates the sidecar from the motorcycle. Now, the sidecar that Mike Cassidy was sitting in, and I was sitting on top of the sidecar, they had put a motor in it, and Mike was driving it, except that we would run out of gas. We'd go up this ramp and head towards, well, the egg truck. We were supposed to jump into the egg truck or fly into the egg truck. And the sidecar would keep stalling out. I don't know how many times we tried filming it. And then there was this one time that Mike thought that we were going to make it. And he hit the ramp. You know, he drove up the ramp that we ran out of gas on the ramp, and we hit the back of the egg truck. The sidecar flipped upside down, and Mike Cassidy went to the ground. They had the ground padded for him. I slid onto the egg truck, but had we gone any lower than we did, I would have been decapitated. I mean, you know, the sidecar would have gone under the egg truck, and I would have hit the back of the egg truck. That's probably one of the most dangerous stunts that I did.
Leslie, tell us about your first day working on Star Trek, which I believe was during Deep Space Nine, right?
It was Deep Space Nine. It was at the Paramount lot. And the thing is, I've worked at the Paramount lot before, so it wasn't like the first day I was a stunt woman. But I'll tell you, being a Trekkie and having a job on Star Trek, on Deep Space Nine, walking towards the soundstage, it felt like the first day of being a stunt woman. I mean, it was a dream come true.
Absolutely, a dream come true indeed. And you're there for practically the entire run of the series, plus Voyager, right?
There for the series of Deep Space Nine and also Voyager.
Leslie, can you tell us about your first day working on Deep Space Nine and what episode it was and what you were doing for stunts?
It was Way of the Warrior I think that's the name of the title. You can check me on that. It was when Michael Dorn, Worf, was coming to the space station. It was his first episode, I believe. I was just one of the Starfleet members that when the Klingons start beaming on to the space station, they're shooting at everybody. Everybody's shooting at everybody. It wasn't an individual stunt, but again, still wearing a Starfleet uniform and sitting, at the controls. Again, it's like, I can't believe this is happening for me. I was going to say to me, but it's for me. I mean, I'm so grateful to Dennis Matalone for hiring me. I mean, yes, we were at Paul Stater's gym, but it was just wonderful.
Yes, Worf's first appearance in Deep Space Nine. I love that 2-part season premiere.
Yes.
It's so good. And you were a Starfleet officer in Yellow. Well, BK and I watch reruns, so we don't forget those details.
We don't, Lily. Now, Leslie, way back when magazines were a seemingly single source of Star Trek news, I subscribed to Star Trek Communicator, the magazine. Leslie, in this magazine, we're going to show a picture of you and the stunt superstars led by Dennis Matalone from the Deep Space Nine series finale, What We Left Behind. Now, this is around the peak performance era of Star Trek's popularity on television. What was it like working on the finale and then transitioning over to Star Trek Voyager?
Well, we didn't all work on What You Leave Behind. When Deep Space Nine was coming to an end, the fan magazine Star Trek Communicator did a special edition showing both cast and crew. Well, Voyager was already filming new episodes. The series, TNG, DS9, Voyager, they overlapped. So it wasn't like there was a space in between. It wasn't like there was an end to Star Trek. It was, you already had been filmed on the next series that was coming out. What We Leave Behind was where I was the dead body of Mila, and I had to do a stair fall. And I think originally the stairs were supposed to be metal or I don't know what, but Dennis knew that being a dead body and falling down the staircase is a lot more dangerous than a person that's supposed to be, I'll say, awake, because you could move yourself around if you see you're heading towards the edge of the staircase of the, I'm not the edge being the bottom, the edge being the side. You could adjust yourself, but if you're a dead body, you can't adjust yourself. And Dennis was very concerned for me. And he had them pad the steps, plus put carpeting on the steps.
For your safety, yeah.
Yeah.
May I help you?
What's taking us so long?
I don't know.
I don't know if the banner, whatever you call it, is that the poles were like every 5 or 6 steps that I wouldn't hit my head into the banner, or there'd be less chance that I might hit my head into the side of the staircase. But actually going on, so there was the stair fall, but if you watch the clip, they throw a bomb down the steps after I'm laying on the ground. I'm supposed to be a dead body. Well, they had this thing explode, and this little piece of fire went off and landed. It didn't land on my hand, but it landed near enough to my hand that I could feel the heat. I didn't get burned, but I could feel the heat, and I just had to lay there until they yelled cut. There's a famous line that they say, 7 years to syndication. That means you probably can sell the television show or the series to whatever network or whatever, that they have enough episodes that, that they can show the show.
Yeah. Well, it happens so many times.
If something only lasts one season, in 1 or 2 months' times, you would have seen all the episodes. 7 years of episodes, lasts for a while.
Yes, this happened to be so many times in syndication, with Star Trek having 7 seasons in all the series, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager during that time. It's very successful.
Yeah, and you could just start over again. And I mean, I'm sure there are people that have missed an episode. So people are, well, they're, with Star Trek, I was going to say,
maybe not.
You probably haven't missed an episode. You just want to see it again.
Yes, we love to watch them as a rerun so many times.
We do.
So, Leslie, I know you were also working with Dennis Madalone as an assistant stunt coordinator, and you're the only female assistant stunt coordinator on Star Trek when you were on Deep Space Nine. In particular, the episode Bada-Bing Bada-Bang. Tell us some stories and how you're protecting and working with the cast and crew.
So, actually, I was one of the patrons of the casino. So I'm in a 1950s waist dress, high heels, but I'm also the assistant stunt coordinator because Dennis had to be somewhere else. There was an A-frame ladder, and the special effects guy was on top of the ladder holding one of those pizza, I don't know what to call it, spatulas, because he had the money. When Cisco throws the money up in the air, in reality, it would fall down in a lump, but they wanted it to kind of fly all over the place so people would be grabbing at the money. So he's on the ladder, the special effects guy, RJ, and with the pizza spatula, and he's shaking it, and the money is flying down to the people. And that's the scene. But now we're in between scenes, and they wanted to move the camera. Well, the camera was on a crane, and they start moving it, and the camera starts pushing the ladder over. And all RJ could do was hold on to the spatula, hold on to the ladder. I mean, he knows he's going to hit the ground. Well, I saw what was happening. And in my high heels and my 1950 dress, I went running up to the ladder and just, a hand on each side of the A-frame, and just pushed my body into it so the ladder wouldn't fall over. And other people finally saw what I was doing and came in and grabbed the ladder. And then also the camera people saw what was happening with the camera, that the camera was hitting the ladder. And RJ never fell off the ladder. Well, the ladder never fell. I mean, we were able to keep it upright, and he wasn't hurt. But the end of the story was the next day. I was walking down the street, one of the streets of Paramount, with Tom, and RJ and Gary Monak drive by in a golf cart. Their special effects golf cart. Either you have bicycles or golf carts at Paramount. Mm-hmm. And RJ, they stopped to say hi to us. And RJ goes, "She's my hero."
Everybody's a winner.
Yes, you were his hero that day. And that's also interesting, the role of a stunt coordinator, something you don't hear about often. So thank you for sharing that, Leslie.
Now, Leslie, you had a series of consecutive stunts showing off your versatility in Quarks Bar in the Deep Space Nine episode titled Times Orphan. Can you please talk about that episode and some of this choreography that went into it?
This is one of the rare times when you get a group of stunt people working. Most of the times in the episode, maybe there's only one or two stunt people, but this was in Quarks Bar. The episode was Times Orphan, and young Molly became, well, we referred to her as Molly 18 years old.
Yes.
Molly 18. Anyways, Molly comes out of the holosuite and she comes down the spiral staircase, and Dennis and Linda are on the spiral staircase. And well, the Stuntwoman was Simone. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. Borja, well, begins with a B. Simone. Simone comes running down the spiral staircase. She knocks Dennis and Linda out of the way on the spiral staircase. She jumps off the spiral staircase. Then she runs up on, I don't know, it's like one or two steps, but now she's in Quarks Bar, and she runs into me, and I'm wearing an orange sweater. That's how you'll know that it's me. And then she ran into a couple of other stunt people, and I don't remember. I'd have to look at the clip and I don't remember who else there was, but she knocks other stunt people out of the way. She definitely knocked a Ferengi out of the way. I know that's George Colucci. Then Tom comes walking into the bar. He's stunt doubling. I don't remember the species, but this ambassador, and Molly 18, Simone, picks up a broken bottle and stabs Tom, and then security stuns her, and that's the end of the stunt.
It's okay.
Sweetie, we'll come back another day, I promise.
I'm sorry, little lady. On stop.
Molly!
A captain's log returns in a moment.
Leslie Hoffman was a regular stunt double on popular TV series like Remington Steele, Chips, and many others before being on Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Voyager. Check out these facts. Track them out. Lily, this is really interesting. Leslie Hoffman stunt doubled for many characters, aliens, humanoids, as you can imagine, of course, in Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager under heavy makeup. However, the main character that she stunt doubled for was Star Trek Voyager's B'Elanna Torres, the wonderful half-human, half-Klingon, female, strong performing role. Now, we're going to show you a clip of a really good stunt double scene where Leslie Hoffman was doubling Torres. Check it out.
Begin.
Can't wait to kick off this two-part. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Hello, happy, my old friend. I'm glad you've manifested yourself into a human I can depend on to bring me happy. Thank you, happy.
BK and I are thrilled to introduce you to A Spotlight on Manatees. Computer, open channel to Cassidy Baldwin.
Hi, Bryan and Lili. Save the manatees.
Hi, Cassidy.
Hi, Cassidy. Now, like us, Cassidy is wearing the Save the Manatee Club t-shirts underneath the uniforms, of course. Now, the Save the Manatee Club is a nonprofit 501c3 organization whose mission is to protect imperiled manatee and their aquatic habitat for future generations. The Save the Manatees Club has an Adopt a Manatee program to symbolically adopt a real living manatee.
Be the friend he needs. Adopt a manatee. Thank you, Cassidy. Bye.
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 Now, Lily, in the Gulf part of Florida, manatees can be found west through coastal Louisiana and are occasionally sighted as far west as Texas.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
There's also a California manatee that is a descendant of manatees that migrated to California's rivers that resembles an Amazonian manatee, but it's
Really?
slightly larger. Yes.
Interesting.